afternoon, everyone. Hello. This is Vivon Squires, your coach. You know who I am. I want to thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited about what I have planned for you today. As you know, we are gearing up for our first annual online healing event. And today we are talking to Dr. Doty Simpson-Taylor, Dr. Doty Simpson-Taylor, who is going to be doing the guided meditation piece of our webinar. Oh my goodness. As you guys know, I believe we are multi-dimensional spiritual beings and that we have supernatural power that we access through our intuition, through our visualization, our imagination, and our creativity. And if you are new, I want to say welcome, welcome, welcome. You are welcome here. This is a safe place. And if you are returning, you know I could not do this work without your love and support. Thank you so much for allowing me to be your coach. Thank you for coming here to listen to me tell you all about these spiritual things in nature that we speak about here. And today we are sponsored by Spirit Source Connection. And as I said, we are talking to Dr. Doty Simpson-Taylor. Now, let me tell you about this dynamo. Dr. Doty Simpson-Taylor, okay, she is an Air Force veteran to start off with. Oh my goodness, an Air Force veteran. Yeah. She is a psychologist, a community healer consultant. She is a soul hurt specialist, a mother, a sister, a daughter, and a friend. And now to me, Auntie Doty. And so with no further ado, I am going to now introduce you to our Dr. Doty as we ask her some questions about meditation. And so she can help us understand how meditation helps to align the mind, the body, and the soul. And that it's good for all sorts of things like self-esteem, clarity of mind, just anything that's going to help you become your optimal self. Meditation is going to help you. And so, Dr. Doty, thank you for being here with us today. Can you please just say hello to the people and tell us all about your meditation, your soul hurt repair process, all of those wonderful things that you are currently involved in. We can't wait to hear all about it.
First of all, who is this person that you just introduced? I have no clue, okay? But my mama might like it. I just want you to know there's something about mamas.
Yes.
I am, thank you so very much for inviting me to join this community. I am really one of those people that just believe that we all can and need to lean into our purpose. We're not here randomly. We could just kind of hang out if we want to, but the problem is when you just kind of hang out, then hangout things can kind of happen to you. Ooh. So I was trained and taught by my parents very early to take on the responsibility of living intentionally. And I believe it is a responsibility to live intentionally as opposed to just kind of, we're here, so let's exist. Watching my parents do the James chapter 5 piece in terms of servant leadership, they did not blink at taking an opportunity to be kind to themselves and be kind to others, and to have a faith that was very strong, that believed that people really are good. And from that standpoint, one of the things that we can very easily do is, instead of always thinking the worst of people, what would happen if you think the best of people? And you start living like, because nobody's born into the world evil. I just don't believe that. There's no way I could believe that. And I'm the second oldest girl cousin of 110 first cousins on my mama's side.
Wow.
So just saying. And then I'm the oldest of 11. But when I looked at this and I watched the way my mom and my dad raised us, yes, and the ways that they were respected and not revered, but respected, and the rules were abided by their siblings and by other folks who just happened to be a part of their lives. Watching them engage with other people, there's The Bible talks about living with integrity.
Sure.
They were people of integrity. They lived the way that they wanted, uh, so that others could see them,
Sure.
being kind, being generous, thinking the best. But if you did now, if you cross the line, now Mama could fight. I just want to just tell you, she wouldn't trust you, but she'd beat you in the bad health. Right now, I don't know how to cuss, but I can use the dictionary and the thesaurus real well to say, have you really thought about your human beingness? But Mama just said, and Daddy lived this, act accordingly.
Sure.
Act according to the person that you say you are in your head and in your heart. And if you can do that, there's an opportunity for you to see the good works that you have that's already there. We all have. I believe that there, like I said, there are no evil people born, but I believe, and I've been trained and taught that the backstories that we don't see tend to shape the the lives of folks. And
Yes.
so for some of us, we're so busy looking at folks' backstories, folks in the presence, we don't deal with what the notion that they might have a backstory and that they may be living in their pain. I
Mm,
believe that we can deal with our pain by looking at, acknowledging that we all got a little bit of something. As my
absolutely.
daddy once said, he said, everybody got a wrinkle.
Yeah.
And if we all got a wrinkle, while I'm pointing my fingers at you, I got a whole two by four coming into my eye. And I have no right to make my mind that you are going to be a certain kind of way, and I don't even know your first name. What I
Absolutely.
know is what people say about you, and can I believe what other people say? Because we never know how other people want to present you, and so I believe that one of the things in terms of this whole notion about acting accordingly and leaning into your purpose is that if I believe in that there's good
Yes.
somewhere, and even if I'm having a hard time now myself, I believe that there's a kindness, that's opportunity somewhere, and I can meet your need by feeding by I can meet my need by feeding your need. And so what I want to be able to do is to live with you in a meaningful way so that we're not doing this all the time. We don't have to do this. We
Sure.
can take the opportunity to meet one another and to love one another. And when I say that, the traumas that people have, and I'm kind of thinking in my head, the
Sure.
traumas that we have in experience in our lives, they have a tendency to shape the presence.
Absolutely. I agree. That's why I am
When
so happy that you're here today to talk about that piece.
hmm when it
Because,
shapes, go ahead.
no, 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 I don't mean to cut you off at all. I'm just agreeing.
Well, when I think about that,
Uh oh. Hello?
I am in a place of who I am. There is a piece of soul repair that says that what we can do, what we can do and need to do is sometimes do the book of lamentations. We just need to cry out and say, I got this going on, I got that going on, I need that. Because once you get it up outside of you, write it down, say it out loud in your quiet space or whatever. um, but one of the things, if you get it outside of you, if I can get it outside of me, then it's not rotting inside of me. And
Ooh,
prayerfully, there will be someone or a safe space for me to say those things and experience those things. Now, one of the things that happens though, I want to say baby girls, I'm sorry.
that's okay. You can call me baby girl. People call me
Baby,
coach, but you can call me baby girl.
Love you, girl. One of the things that happens way too often is that um, we are not. There's a word called presence,
Mhm.
and being present in my head says that whatever is going on, I don't have to say anything. I just have to be still and listen to my heart. Be still and acknowledge that there's some things that I may not ever know and understand. And be still and say it's okay that I may not understand. And be still and not envy you for being able to do whatever you got to do. Because I have got to look at me inside, and if as I look at the me, if I don't like it, sometimes, it's difficult to do it all by myself. Maybe we have to talk with somebody. Um, and maybe my spiritual guidance, I may go to Allah, God, or Buddha, wherever my higher power might be. But it's on me. It's not on anybody else to fix it first. But
Yes.
first, I have to acknowledge that there's this disturbance in my aura, and this disturbance in my aura says that something's just out of sync.
Yes, ma'am.
What can what, there's a song that says, "Where do I turn to? Who do I turn to?" And those of us who are Christian and Baptist say, "I go to the rock," you know, um, because He's able.
Sure.
Those who are not who may not be Christian, but we have a safe space somewhere.
Yes, ma'am.
One of the things that Sister Soldier Network has done in its and Sister Soldier Network is the organization of veteran women that I hang out with, and we believe in telling our stories. We believe in being a resource for the community, and we believe in spirituality, recognizing that everybody has a soul need.
Yes, ma'am.
And when that soul hurt occurs, sometimes we have this need to have some cleansing, some opening up of space, some acknowledging that things ain't right. So let me just stop there because I've said a whole lot real quickly. And I know you got another question to help me clarify some of what I just said.
Oh my goodness, that was such a great nugget of information. Thank you so much for explaining that in your own way. And like you said, we do have to have a safe place where we can come and talk about those issues. Like you said, something ain't right. I can't put my finger
Mm-hmm.
on it, and I don't know what to do about it. But I just hope there's some place that I can go. I hope there's just somebody that I can talk to who understands, who has faced my dilemma and actually found a way out. And so that's why I am here. That's why you do the work that you do. And so for those that are listening, I know at one time I could not get clarity and I could not align my mind with my spirit because my mind was so confused because I had so much trauma going on. Where do you even begin to make sense out of this? Growing up, I thought the treatment that I had was normal. I thought everybody was treated like this, but it wasn't until I grew up
Mm.
and in my adulthood where I was able to understand abuse and to be able to actually admit that I had some trauma issues through my childhood and adulthood. And so, for those who feel like they have had trauma, but they have never spoken to anyone about it, what would you say to that person? How would you encourage that person to move forward, to find the help that they need?
First, I would say you're not alone.
Mm,
I want you to know that you're not alone. That people who don't even know your name are out here and out there saying, wishing the best for you and hoping for the best for you. We are sorry, of course, that things have turned out that way for you, but we're trying to be a difference in the world that we live in. We only have 3 square feet that we can influence. And baby girl, if my 3 square feet of kindness touches your 3 square feet, hopefully a little bit of that will rub off.
Oh
And
my.
so as you are in the center, and I think about the kinds of things, the life that we live, there's a mind map and something called a social norm map that just kind of says a sociogram that says, here I am, here's my community, here's my family, here's this, all of these influencers in our lives. I want somebody who can say to you, to actually step up to the plate and say, baby, you're not alone.
Yes.
I'm here. And even if I never say anything to you, I'm going to be the person that catches your eye and smiles at you
Hmm.
in the store or waves at you as you walk by. And I talk about something called, we only have, let's think about a 30-second day.
Okay.
And every time something enjoyable happens, and we're going to do it in 3 second interims.
Okay.
So I drive down the street and the car speeds by and didn't hit me. There's my 3 seconds of joy.
Oh yes, I can see
We
that.
take things so, yeah, and there's 3 seconds. And so I say, oh, there's my 3 seconds. I'm going to encourage us to think about a formula for feeling safe in my space by saying, I'm going to have this 30-second day. The 30 seconds are going to be 10 3-second experiences. When I laugh, when something makes, I see some joy in somebody else's eye, when I am being verbally, physically, or sexually, or neglected and abused, or in harm's way, emotionally and physically, and or physically, and or mentally, and or financially,
Mm,
and or socially. Whoa, I have to look for my 3 seconds.
absolutely. Thank you.
Does that help? I mean, that's a beginning. But
Yes.
then, but then, the 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 piece about being still, also says something too. We're not trained to be still. The word says, "Be still and know that I am God." First of all, the first word is be.
Oh.
Okay, I can't get to still if I don't acknowledge the be.
Mm.
And that's the me that
Yes.
is acknowledging my human beingness.
Okay.
And if I can see somebody else lending me a little piece of their human beingness by nodding,
Mhm.
wave at somebody,
Sure.
smile at somebody. When I see somebody cussing a child out in the grocery store, I'll may walk up to him and say, and I know it's dangerous in the world we live in these days, but I'm the
That's
kind of person that'll walk up, we done had a bad day today. What's going on? These bills are so high, groceries is high. Whoever thought that eggs would cost us, they too high to eat? Redirect. We have an opportunity to redirect somebody else from hurting someone. And
yes.
sometimes we don't. We say, it ain't my business. It may not be your business. So don't get in their business. Get into their human beingness.
I
Okay?
like that. I
If we
like.
can redirect that, then they have to temporarily, whoever that is, has to temporarily look up, even if they scowl at me. It's all right. I can take a cussing. I don't want no beating, no. I just want you to know that, but I can take a cussing. um, and so with that, that is me being present for myself and being present for somebody else because I'm being assaulted. When I'm
Sure.
hearing somebody screaming and yelling at somebody else, that's an aggression to me personally because I didn't come out here to walk around here and hear you acting up like this, or to live next door to you and hear these screams and yells and all this kind of stuff going on, or to hear you, or to know that you're crying and I don't have any tool to help you with. I've got to get myself back together and say, okay, Lord, how could I be still and know what you would have me to do?
Mhm.
So there's a responsibility for the others that I want to just posit that we put out there, going back to act accordingly.
Sure.
My kindness, my human beingness, my meaning for living is something that is mine personally. And I can take I can't take responsibility for you, but I can take responsibility for how I interact with me so that I am ready to interact with you. And so there's a space and a place for all of this in our 30-second days.
I love that. I love that. I'm going to take that with me. I hope you all have heard this 30-second day here where you get to take 30 seconds and be joyful and to be happy and to say, oh my goodness, this is my opportunity to have a great day, even if it is for 30 seconds at a time.
And one of the things that I'm asking people to do is take it 3 seconds at a time.
3 seconds.
So you have 10 opportunities then.
Okay. 10
Okay,
3-second
so
opportunities.
10, 30 seconds. Because if you think about the if each second if each event I counted as one,
Okay.
that's that's 3 seconds. So I'll give myself 30 seconds by doing 10 times three in a day.
Oh my
It may
goodness.
be the music that I hear. It may be the fact that I am really delighting in this sun today because the other night when they were talking about tornado coming here, I just got I got in my little corner,
And you were
and
still, and you were
and I
still.
was asleep. Like my grandmama said, y'all get away from the windows when it's lightning and raining.
Oh, turn them
I
lights
knew how
off.
to get away from the window, but I go back to what my responsibility is again.
Mhm.
Um,
I like that.
and I want to say though, if a person is depressed, if a person is sad, if a person, I can't expect that person to do what I'm saying immediately.
Sure.
All I
Mm.
ask you to do if you're depressed or when because we all get depressed,
Yes,
we
ma'am.
all have our downtimes. When we get depressed, take a minute. Well, when we're not depressed, begin to think about, well, what are my options? Do I have any options? Is there a safe space for me? Is there a safe space mentally, physically, socially, financially? And if not, sometimes, baby girl, we got to shake the dust off our feet and run. Don't walk away from whatever that is that's in our background.
Talk about
And
that.
sometimes people, you know, I'm a psychologist, and I was definitely in charge of, if I saw somebody abusing a child, I'm held responsible for not reporting that. But ask my children if I didn't sometimes, when I gave them options, a whipping was the last thing you'd get, but you gonna have a consequence for acting up, because I was raising people, I wasn't raising animals.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness, that was so powerful what you just said. That was so powerful. Just the other day, I was thinking about, sometimes when we're being punished by our parents, of course they're human. You know what I'm saying? We have to understand that fact.
Hmm.
And a
Hmm.
lot of times I felt like I was being raised as a pet, like an animal. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying?
Hmm.
And it's so interesting that you said that you're raising people, not animals, and that the beating was the last resort, not the first. I'm happy to hear you say that, because all it does is just re-traumatizes us and puts us in a place of feeling
Hmm.
disconnected from the people that we want to help us most, disconnected from those that we love most and respect most. And that was
Hmm.
that was my truth. And I'm sure that if it was my truth, it happens to be someone else's truth, because we're not alone in our thinking. We're not alone in our feeling. And so when you spoke to us and you said, the first thing you said was, I want you to know that you're not alone. That is so powerful. That is so powerful. And that's part of the reason why I come here on a weekly basis, and to help people understand that they're not alone, and to show them what is possible, that healing is possible. Now, you don't have to heal if you don't want to, but I want you to know that it is possible if it's something that you desire. And so having you here with us today helps everyone to understand that they're not alone. Healing is possible. First, you have to be who you are. And so when you're saying that, what do we say to the people who don't know who they are yet? To the people who are still trying to find out who they are, separated from the trauma they had? Because a lot of times we take on that image, take on that low self-esteem, take on that low self-worth, which was not ours to take on to begin with, but is something that we ended up with as a result of the trauma. And so now in healing that and finding our own identity, what would you have to say about that? I know I'm probably off topic because we're supposed to be talking about meditation, but I believe that we allow the spirit to move, and this is where it's touching me right now.
You you pull my nerve, because I started to think about the ACE studies, which talked about childhood experiences that are so abusive and assaultive. Uh, there's something called the ACE study that actually talks about the kinds of abuses and circumstances that children can be raised in, that is so painful that it is embedded into the very psyche, the very spirit, the very soul of that child. So when the child is raised, sometimes the only model that they have to work from is one that is screwed up. That's what I call it. It's just messed up.
Yes.
But I want to call on every other person who has a heart, who can say, who can look at somebody else and smile at them.
Yes.
Sometimes you can't do nothing else but smile at a person to just remind. I want to remind you. I want to remind this baby. I see you.
Mm-hmm.
I see you. And my smile says, I see you. And I'm not just looking at the outside you, I'm seeing this part of you. And I believe that if my spirit can touch your spirit, you may not even know my spirit is there. But if you begin to look at me and you say, look at the way that lady's looking at me. And it's not one of those negative, like, that kind of thing. No, one of those lewd kind of things. No, one of those violent kind of things. No, any of those judgmental things. I'm saying, mm, mm, mm. Here's another neat person for me to get to know. It's very difficult to get outside of oneself when you're in that space of being hurt.
Sure.
And having been hurt, you know. And so sometimes, and or a child who being in that difficult space, they really can't see themselves. It is my responsibility. Again, I go back to my human beingness, to act accordingly and acknowledge your human beingness.
Yes, ma'am.
By smiling at you, by nodding at you. And we don't do that back in the day. Remember when there really were neighborhoods? To everybody, everybody on the block, and everybody knew you, and they knew what time you were supposed to go to be in the house and all that kind of stuff. People don't do that no more, because people say,
ma'am.
well, you just get in their business. I think that there's a whole lot of people who would like to have somebody get in their business.
Oh my
and
goodness.
act like they are concerned about them.
Yes.
So I may not even ask you your name, but the least I could do is nod at you with a pleasant look on my face.
Yes, ma'am. And
And
what a
then,
pleasant look you have.
and sometimes we just have to, and sometimes we have to, with babies, we have to, do this kind of thing. And I do this with adults too. Mm, you know, and see what, because because we don't know what their experiences were with trauma. We don't know what their experiences would in terms of their backstory.
Yes, ma'am.
But again, I go back to the Bible. When Jesus was depressed in the garden, he had God to turn to.
Amen.
He had his Father to turn to.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, we were created by that Father. And
Amen.
so we have an obligation, well, as a Christian, I would say that.
Yes,
I,
ma'am.
as a created creature, from that beginning, then I have a responsibility to carry on and treat you like someone who is a person as well. And so I'm asking us to have a vision of ourselves as ambassadors for right, ambassadors for good,
Yes, ma'am.
ambassadors for kindness,
Mm-hmm.
ambassadors for acting accordingly.
I
Just
love it. Acting accordingly. I love that. And what I really like about that is it gives the opportunity for each one to determine and define what acting accordingly is for them. And that's what I'm really
mm-hmm.
grateful for, is that, today in life, we show people what's possible, but we don't necessarily tell them how to do it or what they should do or how they should feel. This is what I'm just so adamant about, helping people navigate to their own truth, whatever it may be. And like you mentioned, Christ, you mentioned Allah, you mentioned Buddha. These are entities that people put their faith in, that people believe in. And even if you don't believe in any of these, you are still welcome in this space. There is still healing for you. And so I don't want you to feel in any way that you are not mentioned or not counted in those that have availability to trauma healing. And so thank you so much, Dr. Doty Simpson-Taylor, for being here today to teach us all, that all it takes is a smile. All it takes is just projecting that positive energy out to the next person. We are all healing from something. That is so true. Whether we realize it or not, we are all healing from something. So please realize that the next person that you see driving beside you, the person you see in the grocery store, they are also healing from something. And if we could all just be kind to each other while we heal, I think we'll all make the best of it. And so that's going to wrap us up for today. Thank you again so much for your delightful smile, your message, and your positive energy to our community. I look forward to bearing the torch with you as we continue to move forward, doing this wonderful work and helping others find their truth. I look forward to for you joining us on April the 23rd. That's April the 23rd. Yes, ma'am. That's coming up in a couple of weeks at 2 o'clock, from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock. And we will be looking forward to meeting you there. Everyone, I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful, beautiful, beautiful Serenity Sunday. And I hope that today brings everything that you hoped that it would. Dr. Doty, thank you again so much for honoring us with your
pleasure. Thank you so very much.
Yes,
and
ma'am.
Hi out there.
Okay, guys, that's going to wrap it up. Thank you so much and have a great day. We'll see you next time right here on Spirit Source Connection. Bye-bye.